When moving, finding the right place to live is hard, and when people are thinking about moving to the Phoenix area, they often hear about Scottsdale. So this becomes an area that they look. So let's take a look at moving to Scottsdale, find out more about it, and see if it's the right fit for you. So first off, let's take a look at a map of Phoenix, because when I'm talking to people from other states, they're often surprised that there's really no gaps between our cities. We just blend right into one another. Okay, so here we are looking at an overall map of the city of Phoenix. And as you can see, as I scroll out, this red line outlines the entire city of Phoenix. But as I kind of scroll in, you'll start to see Phoenix blends right into Tempe, blends right into Mesa, blends right into Gilbert, blends right into Chandler, and the same thing for Scottsdale. And you can see Scottsdale is highlighted right here. But really, as we get into it, I'm going to show you some differences of Scottsdale. So once people understand where everything is and Scottsdale remains a focus, they start to realize that North Scottsdale and South Scottsdale have very different feels, with different style homes, different size homes, different topography, different landscaping, and different views. So let's take a look at what some of those differences are and maybe some of the similarities. And if you know Scottsdale or have been to Scottsdale, let me know, which one do you prefer? And what do you like best about North and or South Scottsdale? I really want to know. So I want to come back into the map and show you Scottsdale. So as you can see, again, outlined in the red dotted line, Scottsdale is very long and skinny. We are about 31 miles long and at our widest point, about 11 and a half miles wide. Now, again, because of the topography changes and because of how the development happened within Scottsdale, starting in South Scottsdale first and starting to go towards the north end of Scottsdale, it makes them feel very different. So let's dive into what really makes them different. Okay, so let's start in South Scottsdale. So South Scottsdale is what many would consider the busier part of Scottsdale. It is much closer to the ASU campus, so you are much closer to that hustle and bustle of that environment. You are also surrounded by breweries, bars, restaurants, and shopping. Now, sitting in South Scottsdale is what we call Old Town Scottsdale, and this is one of the most vibrant and unique downtowns in the American Southwest. It has world-class art galleries, museums, shops, dining, you name it, it's all there. And all in a Western setting with covered patios and historic buildings. Now, Scottsdale is known as the most Western town, and you will feel that here with the architecture for sure. You almost feel like you're transported back to another time. In this part of town, you will also find very lively and exciting nightlife. So if this is something that you love, South Scottsdale is definitely a place for you to check out. Now, sitting next to Old Town is the Scottsdale Fashion Square Mall, which seems to continually be reinventing itself, making it better and better and better. Now, this is where you will find over 200 name brand stores like Nordstrom's, Neiman Marcus, Apple, Tesla, and so many others. And the most recent remodel is bringing restaurants like Nobu and Ocean 44. Also coming to Fashion Square is a luxury Lifetime Fitness, as well as Caesars Republic Scottsdale, which is a 4-star luxury resort. Then you also have the pavilions at Talking Stick Mall that has chain restaurants and retail shopping places like Target, as well as a Talking Stick Fields that hosts spring training baseball. Sitting right next to that is the new Great Wolf Lodge, which has an amazing indoor water park. You also have iFly, which is an indoor skydiving facility. And currently under construction right there is Pop Stroke, which is Tiger Woods' new mini golf course. Now, if you'd like to be outside, don't worry, because Scottsdale's Greenbelt has this pathway that connects all of these great things like skate parks, a man-made lake, and so much more. And nearby is the McCormick-Stillman Railroad Park, which is a fan favorite for kids. Here they can ride 2 different miniature trains as well as a carousel. This is a huge park that really gets into every holiday with decorations, and it is fun for the entire family. Now, if you need to get to the airport often and want to do this quickly, living in this location is great because you can be to the airport within 10 to 15 minutes. Many of these homes in this area have been completely remodeled. In fact, some have even been torn down and started completely from scratch. Because of all the remodeling, you might look at some of these homes from the outside thinking, well, it's a 50s or 60s style home. Then you walk inside, it has been completely remodeled and feels absolutely updated, fresh, and modern. To do this, however, oftentimes walls had to be taken out because in the 50s and 60s, people just lived a little bit differently. The floor plans there were a little bit more compartmentalized. So to open them up and make them feel nice and modern, you had to take down some walls. And to get them really updated did require quite a bit of work. Now, prices for homes in this area is going to start around $500,000 and go up to over $2.5 million. Now, much of the land in South Scottsdale is quite flat, so you're not going to have a lot of homes with these big, huge views. And because these homes were built quite a while ago, they just did some things differently back then. Like some of these homes are going to have alleyways where that is where you will take your trash and recycle for it to be picked up. And the electricity to your home is likely still coming into your home from electric poles that are in the street, lining the street, and that's how they're going to come into your house. Now, for many, seeing electric poles like this is pretty normal, but if you go into the North Scottsdale area versus the South Scottsdale area, you will see a distinct difference because we just don't have that in North Scottsdale. Now, if you are wanting a home in Scottsdale and you do not want to live in an HOA, then South Scottsdale is a great place to look. We don't have a lot of master plan communities within South Scottsdale, so the amenities for the homes within South Scottsdale are city park amenities, and they are plentiful. Now, something to be aware of when looking for homes in the South Scottsdale area is that some homes are on leased land. What does that mean? Well, it means that you will own the home, but you will not own the land. So you will have a mortgage for your home and you will also have a lease payment for the land. Now, I say this because I've had people look in this area before and they send me a home and they think, wow, this home is priced significantly lower than homes that maybe are just a few streets over. Why is that? Well, it's because it's on leased land. So it's not that it's terrible, but just know that buying and selling, it will have an effect on the price. And don't worry, there's not a ton, but it's just something to be aware of. Now, many of the people that choose to live in South Scottsdale do so for all the reasons we just talked about. It is a very convenient place to live. It's got a ton of amenities and it is close to everything. Now let's talk about the differences in North Scottsdale. First off, when you are driving up the 101 freeway or Scottsdale Road or Hayden, which all lead north, you don't realize the elevation change that you're driving through. So when you actually get into North Scottsdale, it sits above South Scottsdale, allowing these homes to have some pretty spectacular views. As you get up into North Scottsdale, you are also getting closer to the McDowell Mountains, which some subdivisions actually get into the McDowell Mountains, which give them amazing views down towards South Scottsdale and Phoenix. When the North Scottsdale area was being developed back in the 1990s, many people did not want to move out to North Scottsdale. They thought, oh my gosh, it's too far and there's nothing there. Well, that has drastically changed over the years. There are plenty of grocery stores. There are plenty of Targets, Walmarts, Costco's, gas stations, you name it, we've got it, including Kierland Commons and Scottsdale Quarter. Between these two shopping centers, you have things like the Apple Store, Tesla, Lululemon, Anthropologie, and a 3-story Restoration Hardware. Not to mention all the restaurants, both casual and fine dining. North Scottsdale is really well known for its golf and spas. You have multiple golf courses to choose from, both public and private, as well as a multitude of spas, whether it be private small spas or full big resort spas. And if you're a golf lover, you will love the fact that the Phoenix Open is played on the stadium course in North Scottsdale. During the beginning of the year, North Scottsdale hosts some of the biggest events that we have throughout the year. Things like the Phoenix Open, the Barrett-Jackson Car Auction, and the Arabian Horse Show. Now, when we're talking about homes in this area, you can find single-story as well as 2-story homes. Now, there are multiple different subdivisions within this location. Some call them master plan communities. That means that they have got some of their own community amenities right there next to all the homes. Now, for that, there is also an additional fee. That fee is what we call an HOA fee. But those amenities are just for the people that live in that community. And for that fee, the community is responsible for taking care of and maintaining all of those community amenities. Now, every community has a different fee structure, and it's something that you need to be aware of, especially when you're budgeting for your home. Now, many of the homes within this area were built by builders that were building a few different floor plans. Buyers came into their models, they were able to pick their floor plan, make their selections to make it their own. Now, because like I said, the North Scottsdale area really kind of exploded at the end of the 1990s, and that means that the floor plans were a lot different than what we were talking about in South Scottsdale. They did have that more open concept feel. However, designs and finishes have changed over that short period of time, so you will find a lot of the homes in this area have also been remodeled. Now, as I mentioned, the elevation change when you get into the North Scottsdale area can be quite deceiving. Until you actually get into some of these subdivisions and look back away from the mountains and look down towards Phoenix, you don't realize how elevated you are and the spectacular views that you have. You will also notice as you're driving around the North Scottsdale area that you have areas of this open desert space between homes. This is called Natural Area Open Space, or NAOS. These were all part of the city planning to make the desert feel like the desert. These areas cannot be disturbed, and those people that are backing up to these wash areas or NAOS areas really get a sense of an extended yard and a lot more privacy. Now, in the North Scottsdale area, you will also find subdivisions that offered fully custom homes, as well as some lots that are still available to allow you to build a custom home if that's what you'd like to do. Now, the home prices in the North Scottsdale area can range anywhere from that $500,000 all the way up to over $30 million. And you will also find that the home sizes in the North Scottsdale area, on average, are a little bit bigger than in South Scottsdale. One of the other unique things about the North Scottsdale area is having a property that allows you privileges to actually have horses on your property. Now, the vegetation in the North Scottsdale area is quite lush. We have a very lush desert, which people always laugh at me when I say that, but it's the truth. And when you go into the neighborhoods, what you find is you will find a lot more desert landscape and plants used that are actually indigenous to the area. Versus South Scottsdale, you will find a lot more grass, you will find palm trees, and other vegetation that is used that might not necessarily be completely indigenous to the desert. Now, one of the biggest draws that I find for people that live in the North Scottsdale area is being closer to the mountains, being a little bit farther removed and feeling like they're not always right in the heart of the city and the hustle and bustle. They love the ease of walking and biking right from their house, or the ease of just getting to one of the trailheads, which are plentiful in the North Scottsdale area, and being able to just get out in nature. They also, as I mentioned, love all of the golf opportunities. And now that much of what is in South Scottsdale is also in North Scottsdale, they no longer feel like they're sacrificing anything or spending a lot of time in the car traveling back and forth between the two. But if they want to get to South Scottsdale, it is an easy 15 to 20 minute drive. And anywhere else in the valley, you're about 20 to 30 minutes away. It is very convenient. Now remember back to that map of Scottsdale and how long we are. So there are definitely places all the way to the top north section of Scottsdale that for some is going to feel much too far removed. But it's something to look at, it's something to consider, and if it's not good for you, then find another place. We've got a lot of options. As you can see, there are pluses about North and South Scottsdale, but really digging into both of them to find out what is going to fit you the best is really important. Now, if you'd like to learn more about all the golf communities in North Scottsdale, take a look at this video. And if I can answer any questions for you, please feel free to reach out. As always, I thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.